Hurricane season, unfortunately, not over yet. Just tracking one thing right now. That is Invest 94L. And the big deal with this one is it could become a depression over the next couple of days and be near or impact the Caribbean islands. We're going to have the latest models on that and track that for you. Then we're going to look long range. We've been highlighting the Western Caribbean for the latter stages of October. Some long-range ensembles starting to show some signs a little bit that we could have something brewing by the third or fourth week of October. And then we're going to venture into the Northeast. It's been a wet go of things over the past couple of months, 6 weeks or so in the Northeast, and another big storm looks to take shape, what do you know, for the weekend. Before we get into the video, exciting stuff happening on this channel. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. We are approaching 20,000 subscribers. If you have enjoyed this content, please share it with your friends. Help us to get to that 20,000 subscriber benchmark. I would really appreciate it. If you find this content helpful, please also give it a thumbs up. I do appreciate that as well. All right, so this is it. It looks ugly. That is a good thing. We never like when these things look pretty on satellite, of course, but this is the 7-day tropical development map. That red area is the shading from the National Hurricane Center, that zone of development, if you will, and it's on the higher side. But right now, this thing does not look healthy, and again, that is a good thing. It's all kind of spread out. We have pieces of it back here. It is elongated through here, but it is expected to move into a better environment over the next couple of days, and somewhere likely out in this region, it could approach tropical depression status. I want to show you the spaghetti models first, and then we're going to break down into different operational models to kind of show you the difference and some of the uncertainty here when it comes to Invest 94L. Remember, that just means area of investigation. They're labeled 90 to 99 in the as an invest, and then the L is the Atlantic tag. So here are the latest computer models. TVCon, again, it's a reliable model that the Hurricane Center uses. It's a consensus model. It does keep the center northeast of the islands, and we are continuing to see this trend kind of bending away from the islands. You see the GFS ensembles in purple there. The dark, deep purple is the GFS operational. So we are starting to see that kind of trend to the north and east away from the Caribbean. That would be awesome. I do want to show you, before we get any further into this video, some of the other models that we look at. One of the popular ones that we use in hurricane season is the German Icon model. And you see it here. This is going to be on Friday, October 20th. A very weak system. It has it riding lower than those spaghetti plots I just showed you. It does have it riding through the Caribbean and heading towards the Virgin Islands and into Puerto Rico. The one thing I want to say is here, it is a very, very weak system. We keep on talking about this. It looked like it was going to be system was going to be close to us a couple of weeks ago, and then it bolted and lifted northeast before it could even affect us. I want to say is that trend is happening to kind of bend this away. We'll take a weak system. We'll take a depression because it has been so dry in this area. But nonetheless, the icon suggesting a weak system moving through the Northeast Caribbean and potentially affecting Puerto Rico. Now, the Canadian wants a stronger system, slightly stronger, but it does take it further to the northeast, missing Puerto Rico, but it does impact the Leeward Islands and then impacting parts of the Virgin Islands, especially the British Virgin Islands as well, before it kind of goes up and out. It actually has it becoming a pretty strong storm away from land. The European is interesting. It barely develops the system anymore, and recent satellite imagery would suggest that maybe the European is right, and it keeps it low, and it keeps it weak. So here we go on Friday, October 20th. There you go. It's a very weak system, and it just brings rain to the islands. That would honestly be the best case scenario. I mean, look at that. It just has a moisture surge through there as we move towards October 20th, the 21st, and 22nd. And there's all the green kind of pushing through the northeastern Caribbean. So we'll take that. That'd be awesome. It keeps it weak. It hardly develops it, if at all, and gives us the much-needed rain across the islands. I want to show you the ensembles with this. These are the European ensembles, and we do have, the ensembles are still suggesting some development here, and it does have a few of these members here. Again, each one of those L's is a different member of the ensembles. Remember, ensembles it makes up one thing. These are the European ensembles. Different conditions are put into the model because that helps us when we don't know a lot about the storm or the environment, so that we can get a kind of a range of outcomes rather than just 1 point forecast there. And it does, for the most part, develop this, and it does have it getting, there's Bermuda right here. there's the nice big Bermuda Azores high that kind of lifts closer to the Azores that lifts it up and out. But it does, most of these members get it pretty strong going east of Bermuda after some kind of impact that's yet to be determined on the Northeast Caribbean. The GFS does the same thing, although we saw where that ensemble mean member was when I showed you the computer models, and I'll go back to that main screen here. That was that deep dark purple color there to kind of take out all the noise of the ensemble. That is the ensemble mean. The lighter purple here, the darker purple, is the GFS operational model itself, but that lighter purple is the ensemble mean. So that is the kind of the mean there of all these crazy lines that you see being generated here. Most of the GFS members do keep it away from the Caribbean totally. So that's going to be something that we are going to be watching very, very closely over the next couple of days. But there is nothing right now to suggest that this thing's going to be a behemoth storm coming towards the Caribbean. Impacts potentially, but right now it does not look like anything too terribly strong. But we're going to keep our eyes on it as it continues to venture west. Water temperatures are still crazy warm in that part of the world. While we're on this map, I have the time frame all the way out through October 25th. And this is something, again, we've been talking about the Madden-Julian oscillation, that convective pulse that goes around the globe. It moved through the Pacific, its positive side, and we saw two storms develop. There's more thunderstorm activity over in the Pacific, on the eastern Pacific side, on the west coast of Mexico. It's moving through, it's going to be moving through the Atlantic side, the more positive part of this, to enhance thunderstorm activity. Again, we didn't get that tropical thing of it, but we did have nasty weather roll through Florida as a result of that as well, that increased thunderstorm activity that did bring a lot of severe weather to the Florida Peninsula. But I want you to look down here. The Euro, not much going on. There's a couple of ensemble members biting on something towards the 25th, 26th, but the GFS certainly a little more aggressive in its ensembles, hinting at some development near Central America, near Honduras, Nicaragua, maybe toward Belize, as we move towards the 23rd, 24th, 25th, somewhere in that ballpark in the Western Caribbean. So we're certainly going to watch that. Climatologically speaking, that is exactly where we look. Nonetheless, we are starting to get some ensembles coming on board here that would suggest that we may have something to watch. It would match up climatologically, and again, with that MJO pulse coming through, that would also tend to line up. All right, so now I want to focus on the Northeast. If you live in the Northeast, if you've been around the Northeast on the weekend, you know that we can't catch a break when it comes to nice weather. It's great during the week to be outside. Awesome sunshine, awesome fall weather, and then the weekend hits, bam, we have rain. And that's exactly what's going to happen again. So we're going to fast forward to this upcoming Friday. That is going to be Friday the 20th. And we have a couple of different weather systems interacting with each other. So this is going to be the Euro model again, and you see what happens. Late Friday night into early Saturday, we have this system coming together, and it looks like the worst of the weather arrives later Sunday, or later Saturday, I should say, into Sunday. So there you go, this big area of low pressure developing near Cape Cod around Boston area brings heavy rain, maybe some gusty winds with this as well, as that center, again, pulls in that direction. So, by and large, again, later Friday night, we have rain starting to increase. More rain increases Saturday, and then we have this bigger system that develops between two merging systems working up the eastern seaboard again, Saturday into Sunday. So, don't want to say the entire weekend is a loss. There's still some uncertainty as to how those two pieces come together, but nonetheless, it looks like for at least part of this upcoming weekend, again, in the Northeast, in parts of New England, we are going to be rained out once again. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this video. Again, I really appreciate the support here on this channel. We are approaching 20,000 subscribers. And again, if you have found this content helpful, please share it with your friends. Help us get to that 20,000 subscriber mark. That would be awesome. Really appreciate all the comments that you leave, your weather reports that you leave in the comments as well. Hit that subscribe button if you are new here, and we will catch you next time.